It's time for the 49ers Rush podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the earliest 49ers Rush podcast yet today. I am actually at school, but family's going on vacation today immediately after work, and I wanted to make sure that I got a podcast out to you guys. So here we go, just a little bit different setting, but that's all right. And we actually have some awesome highlights to go along with today's episode. We are going to be talking about the defense. The defensive breakdown against the Packers, and man, what a game again. If we just take a step back and look at, if you could find one key stat that alluded to exactly what took place in this 49ers versus Packers game, Kyle Shanahan even mentioned this in his post-game speech in the locker room. The Packers were held to 2.8 yards per play. 70 total plays for the Packers, which is normal. Nothing wrong with that. But they just couldn't get anything going on. 1 for 15 on third downs and 1 for 3 on fourth downs. There just was never any type of rhythm, or they could never get things going. They were on their own side of the field for probably 80% of the entire game. They never got to the other side of the field. So if we look at that, man, it's something pretty special, to say the least, for them to not even be able to get to where they want to go. The 49ers defense just completely owned everything about the Packers and what took place this weekend. Now, as we go through this, and I want to get into some of you guys' questions and things like that, it seems like the wrong video is playing, so apologize about that. I am trying to fix that now. This is awesome. Yeah, there we go. So, and here's kind of what goes on. If we look at exactly what the Niners did, they stopped them with ease every single play. And every single time they got close, things did not go well. The only thing that worked well for the Packers on offense was penalties. You look at the 3 defensive penalties of Richard Sherman, the defensive holding call against Eric Armstead, and that's kind of the best case scenario for what the Packers were able to do on offense. Not a lot of great things going on. And, yeah, if we look forward, and I'm seeing this already, thanks, Fred, for pointing this out, it's going to be another Mud Bowl this week. You play against the number 2 team in the NFC, the Packers. You destroy them at home 37-8 by over 4 touchdowns. Now you're going against the number 2 seed in the AFC on the road across 3 time zones, early morning kickoff. Damn you, Fox. This game could never have been flexed because Fox and CBS gets to protect 1 game a week that can't be flexed into the primetime spot. And so, obviously, with this being the game of the week, Fox chose just to keep this game to themselves. So it never really had a chance to be flexed because of Fox, and it's going to be ugly. Now, does the rain benefit them? Nah, I don't think it really benefits either. We are 2 of the most prominent rushing attacks in the NFL. Now, the Ravens' rushing attack is on pace to break all-time records, but the 49ers no slouch either whenever it comes to the run game. What they're able to do with the line of scrimmage and just different motions and all those things is pretty damn special. So before we jump into just our grades from the defensive performance, some stats and all those different things, I do want to take a second just to thank our sponsor who makes all this possible. Support for the 49ers Rush podcast comes from Manscaped.com. They are the absolute best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels, and here's the deal. It's the holidays coming up, and untrimmed nether regions are a thing of the past. We're not in the 70s anymore. It's time to gear yourself up and give yourself the gift of shaving this holiday season. I'm talking about the Manscaped Perfect Package 2.0. All you do is head over to manscaped.com, use promo code 49ers, and what's going to happen, you're going to get 20% off, free shipping, which is a thing of the past nowadays. Just use 49ers. Promo code 49ers, manscaped.com. Trust me, your balls will thank you. So, real quick, couple of questions here from Andre. I wonder why teams are having such a hard time with the Ravens. It's the same offense that we had with Cap. It's the same Greg Roman offense. Well, the things that they're doing slightly different is they have a lot of big play wide receivers. So if you look at Marquise Brown, who was the first wide receiver taken in the draft out of Oklahoma, he is a home run threat in the making. So you're Deshaun Jackson type player. Then you have Miles Boykin, who, again, he was the most athletic wide receiver in the entire NFL draft. So he has the highest catch radius if you apply like height, wingspan, and vertical. He was number one over DK Metcalf, over everybody, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, and he runs like a 4.3. So they have these huge wide receivers through size with Miles Boykin, and then with speed with Marquise Brown, and then they have a whole bunch of just dirty tight ends that do all of the dirty work underneath. So they have really built this team in a relatively short time to fit the system perfectly. You know, Joe Flacco always throws to the tight end, and that's just who they have always been in Baltimore. But whenever you bring in the quarterback, Lamar Jackson, who, you know, he's very unconventional to say the least, but what he has been able to accomplish, he's put up 2 games of perfect passer rating. So what you have to do is you have to decide, and every team has chosen wrongly. You either let him beat you with his feet or with his arm. You have to make him uncomfortable, and only 2 teams have achieved that this year, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs and, of course, the Cleveland Browns, who dominated them. So you can't blitz him because if you blitz him with the RPOs, he can just pull the ball and throw it super, super quick. He has a very fast release. So you can't blitz. You can't bring more than 4 guys. Well, the 49ers have the best front 4 in football. I do believe that with the way that they are playing. So there's definitely a lot of room. This is a matchup that is key. Both teams, it's not going to be a shocker who wins. Both teams can win this. It's going to be a close game. And I said that last week about the Packers. I really didn't think there was any way we could go in there and force Aaron Rodgers to have less than 100 yards passing. But with this defense, special things can happen. Let's see here. I watched the Chargers versus Ravens playoffs game last year. They contained Lamar with what looked like 7 DBs. Yeah, you're right, Fred. The Chargers, what they did last year, worked very well against the Ravens, worked very poorly against the New England Patriots. So what they did is they just took their linebackers off the field. They put 4 safeties out there and allowed their safeties to play the linebacker position. Now, the one thing that we can say that the 49ers have going for them, Fred, our linebackers are very, very effective, very, very fast. And, yeah, I understand Quan Alexander, the fastest linebacker we had, is not out there. Fred Warner's coming off of his best game as a pro. He just named NFC Defensive Player of the Week, and rightfully so. He's turning into one of the better blitzing linebackers in the NFL. But the issue is going to be with our safeties. If our safeties can step up as they have played, if Jaquiski Tartt and Jimmy Ward can be all over the field and be there on time, then we're going to have a great chance to win this game. I really do believe so. And the spread right now doesn't make much sense. This isn't even our scouting report episode on the Ravens, but I'm so excited I want to talk about it. We're still 6-point underdogs, which I think is a slap in the face. And, I'm not really big on national media respecting us or whatever, but whenever the money in Vegas has us at such a disadvantage, that is a shock to me. So, I've bet every single time that spread moves and it's moving away from us, I put more money down. So, I keep doing that. Just head over to mybookie.ag, use promo code 49ers, of course. But we'll be talking about some bets this week later on. Let's see here. 49ers cannot play zone. They need to play press coverage. Your thoughts? Yeah, that's what we did against the Packers. We played more man coverage, and you'll see, as the highlights, if you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, wherever you're watching this, you can see as the feed goes through how much press man we played against the Packers. If you're listening to this just wherever you listen to podcasts after we record this, if you're not listening live, that's okay. Just want to say thanks. But if you want to see a visual representation of what we did to stop the Packers, please head over to the YouTube page, John Chapman. Just search that. You'll find that very easily. And that's key. You're exactly right, Fred. If you want to beat this team, the Ravens, you have to play man coverage, and that's going to give you an extra run defender or force defender so that when Lamar Jackson keeps it, you have him accounted for. You cannot allow a spy is not enough against Lamar Jackson. You have to have a run defender accounting for him on the edge, and then you also have to be able to play man defense. So I think with what we did to the Packers, I think we're going to do the same, very similar concept, and a whole bunch of looping motions and defensive line stunts to try to keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket. Because whenever you get those, ET stunts where the end shoots in and the tackle loops over, and we have very athletic defensive tackles, it confuses the quarterback to where he can't escape the pocket. And it actually helps you by giving you a better perimeter defender, even if it is a defensive tackle, if it's somebody like Solomon Thomas, Eric Armstead, DeForest Buckner, because of their length, and it has their momentum already going outside. So I think the blueprint's already been set for the 49ers and what we're doing. Good thing is, Ravens played Monday night, so they have 1 day less. They are at home again, but still 1 day less rest, 1 day less prep, all those things. We have been on the other side of that where, we're playing teams coming off a bye. We're playing teams coming off a mini bye. So this is a rarity where we actually get a little bit more rest for the schedule. So that's one thing that I think is key this week. Now let's jump over real quick. Let's talk some Pro Football Focus scores because I want to go over top 5 and bottom 5. And there's so many. Just because somebody is bottom 5 doesn't mean that they had a bad game. It just means they didn't play as well as everybody else because the scores are huge. We have 15 players on defense score a 60 or above grade. 60 is basically a starter in the NFL. 70 is a quality starter. 80 and above is, kind of Pro Bowl level, and 90 above is elite. Usually you only get 1 or 2 players a game in that 90 level. We got 2 just on defense this week. Fred Warner, one of the highest grades in the NFL across any position, scored a 92.9. Fred Warner played wonderfully well. He comes up with 11 tackles. He had 9 solo stops by himself, 1 forced fumble. I mean, the dude was just everywhere. 1 sack, 3 pressures, 2 hurries. You can go on and on. Fred Warner played like a beast. Huge game. I really do think one of the better games of his career. And stop me if you've heard this before. Coming off one of his much poor performance the week before, completely responded. And you love to see that with young players. He's only a sophomore, even though he's playing like a vet. But if we can start to get that consistency with Fred Warner, this defense is going to continue to be special. Number 2, Jimmy Ward, 91.4 grade. He was all over the field. 2 pass breakups, and that doesn't even mention what he did in the run game. He got in there and made some huge plays, 5 total tackles. He was all over the field. And Jimmy Ward continues to step up when it matters most. 3rd and 4th downs, Jimmy Ward is special. And so if we can have good safety play, we look back to before the season started, and if we said what our weaknesses are, it was safeties, who can be the corner opposite Sherman, and then offensive line play. And so you could throw wide receivers in there, of course, as well. But most of those answers have been responded. Corner is now one of the deepest positions we have, with Emmanuel Mosley and Ahkello Witherspoon playing the way they are. Plus, Richard Sherman still hasn't given up a touchdown through 12 weeks of the NFL season. I mean, there's so much great things in depth that has been built through this team in such a short time. And so, yeah, we've had a lot of injuries. Even offensive line, you look at that. We said before the game, or at least I said, if we lose one of our tackles, we're screwed. Well, we lost them both, and we still kept winning. The depth that has been built on this team all across offense and defense is something special, because we are one of the most, injury-riddled teams still, but 10-1 with no glaring weaknesses. And, hopefully we get a couple of guys back. Joe Staley, still waiting to see what can happen with Kintavious Street. He can return from IR. We haven't heard much about it, but there's still a lot of possibilities here. Moving down the list, Nick Bosa, number 3. He received an 83 grade, 5 total pressures, 1 sack for 4 hurries, and he had 1 sack wiped off the field, which was a horrible, holding call, which you'll see it on here, where Eric Armstead just, he did hold the defensive lineman, but it had nothing to do with Nick Bosa. Elijah Lee, who I think is going to be a key player next week. He's probably our most athletic linebacker, number 47. He got a 74.7 grade, and personally, I hope that he gets a lot of playing time, and I want him to be responsible for their quarterback, because he's so athletic and long, and he only got 12 snaps against the Packers, but I think great things can happen. I want Elijah Lee on the field in our 4-3 set much more so if we're doing that, because the kid's playing special. Eric Armstead tied with the 74.7 grade, playing wonderful, and Demontre Moore, who unfortunately he is done. He has moved to IR. We are going to call up Villalobos, but just great game. Now, if we flip this, let's look at the negative grades, or perhaps the bad grades. K'Wan Williams had his worst game this year with a 37.9. Now, even though he had such a bad game, he was all over the place. He was targeted 5 times. He gave up 3 catches for only 13 yards, but he had that penalty. He did have a missed tackle. He had a couple missed angle routes where he took himself out of the play. He didn't even get that missed tackle. And because of that, DJ Reed got some snaps at the end of the game. He didn't play well either, so our slots didn't look well. Azeez Al-Shahar got 21 snaps. He got a 45 grade. Tarvarius Moore was in there, 17 snaps, 45. And this is key, too, because we blew him out so much, we were able to get a lot of work for some of our depth guys. Marcel Harris got snaps. You go up and down the list. We got a lot of guys snaps that haven't played in months, and a lot of that's just a testament to how bad you are defeating your opponents. So Julian Taylor, he struggled. He got a 60 grade, but got 25 snaps. So you've got to be excited about that and what's going on there. Let's see here. Getting some comments on here. John, let's see here. You awake right now? Oh, by the way, I'm at the hospital in Pasadena. Come visit. Oh, man, hope all is well. Hope everything's all right, Barack. Reach out to your family. Hope everything's all right, man. Prayers up for you, brother. Let's see here. I want to see Shanahan open up his zone running scheme with a lot of motion. What we were doing at the beginning of the year, similar to the Panthers defense, keep the Ravens defense confused. Yeah, we've gone away from the double motion sets a lot. It does seem like play calling shifted dramatically around week 7 or week 8. Maybe that's because of the injuries and we wanted to simplify things. Not really sure, but the crazy motions and all that stuff, they've definitely been shelved. And we're doing a little bit more power running game instead of the outside zone, which made Kyle Shanahan famous. Now, we're still moving the ball very well. But you're exactly right, Fred. Things have changed dramatically with the plays that have been calling. And Kyle Shanahan, he's one of the most famous scripter of plays. Every coach scripts a bunch of plays before they go out there. But it's definitely changed quite a bit with that. So, Sergio, the Ravens starting center, is out for the season. This does help. Yeah, that's going to help DJ Jones, who's playing crazy lately anyway. So that's going to be huge here. John told his students to shut the hell up. I'm doing my podcast now. The school is not open yet. Students don't come up for another 20 minutes, and I've been up for a long time. Recorded my video breakdown early this morning around 4:30. So just trying to get everything taken care of for you guys so that whenever I do go on vacation, I can enjoy the fam. We're going to be chilling at the beach this weekend, even though it's raining here in Cali, just hanging out for Thanksgiving. So just don't want to miss any podcast for you guys. I want to keep our schedule. I'm liking the way things are going here. Anyway, wife and I are having twins. Barack 09er. This is awesome. I wish you the best of luck, man, and congratulations. Hopefully everything goes smoothly, sir. That's awesome. So real quick, before we jump off, I want to talk a little bit more just about bets this week. We're going to do our entire betting special a little bit later this week once we start our scouting report and all those things. But again, before that, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. This is huge. MyBookie.ag. For this week only, okay, MyBookie is offering a risk-free bet on the Bears-Lions game. All you got to do is just choose a team against the spread. It's a 3-point spread. I'm going with the Lions. I'm putting a full $250 down. If you win, you keep all the money. Whatever your winnings are. If you lose, you get all your money back. MyBookie will give you all your money back. It is an absolute no-brainer because you cannot lose. It's no risk. It's all money. Again, MyBookie.ag. Use promo code 49ers. One, they're going to match your initial deposit. So if you put in $125, they're going to bump you up to $250. You put all $250 on this game. If you win, you've got $500 off of a $125 deposit. If you lose, they're going to give you all your money back. You cannot lose. You can't lose. MyBookie.ag. Use promo code 49ers. And again, it's all guaranteed. Match risk-free bet for this week only. Only on, you have to bet against the spread. You can't bet the money line. You got to do it. I don't understand why people haven't done this yet, but that is key there. And the game, for where we're at, it's really interesting. 49ers are +6. That just doesn't make sense to me. Over-under is 46.5. Now, the rain might affect that a little bit, but both of these teams have shown that they can move the ball well on the ground. So really, really excited about what's coming forward. We've got a bunch of stuff in the works. We're just getting started here. And, we've got the playoffs. 49ers clinched playoffs with a win or a tie, or if the Rams win or tie. So a lot of stuff coming forward. Just want to say thanks, guys. Really do appreciate it. And sorry it's an early episode today, but I wanted to get something out just because there's so much great stuff going on. So until next time, we'll have our scouting report episode out probably Friday or Saturday, and we will talk to you guys then. And then as always, stay strong, faithful.